First of all, thanks to the VNRVJIET and TEDx team particularly, and also to Padma Sai Madam for inviting me for this gathering. So, after Crescendo and also Usha's inspiring speech and our journey, I believe we are trying to get down to the most way of looking at how individual careers move. I'm here to talk about my own journey. In the last 27 years, what happened, how a person from a normal background can scale up to the level of Chief Innovation Officer for a global conglomerate like Tata Consultancy Services. Let me ask you something to all of you. How many of you feel that you have something within you but you cannot explain? We have something in us, but we cannot explain. It's not in your marks. It's not in your resume. Something which is inside us. That is nomina, what we call your invisible force. As long as you are able to understand your invisible force, speak to your inner circle, you will be able to discover yourself and make a big difference. In last 27 years, this is one important thing really helped me to scale. I'll tell you, when I joined TCS way back in '98, I really did not have any kind of an objective what I can do. I was also very normal like you guys, many of you like, but I was trying to discover myself all the time. I only had one particular intent, that I can only do what I can do, but my intent was to get the fastest growth within the TCS. Having said that, I was trying to accept all the possible challenges which is coming on my way. Never said anything no. The intent is to work in the challenge environments which is very, very uncomfortable. How many of you can work in a very uncomfortable zone and try to discover and do the best things? So when I walked into my first engagement with National Securities Depository Limited, that was a time when physical shares were converted to the electronic formats. At that time, one of the depository participant system got crashed. Many of my senior leaders were not accepting the challenge to discover what happened, where it happened. So my project leader called me and told me that there is a series of commands you need to run and you need to do these things to discover when actually the crash happened. I just took the challenge, spent around 7 days, formulated a report and submitted it, not knowing the impact of it. But once my report went to the National Securities Depository Limited and also to the SEBI, later I came to know that that particular depository participant was suing NSDL for 80 lakhs in '99, stating that it is their mistake which resulted into the crash. But my report discovered that that crash is not the result of NSDL, but it is the result of their own employees. So as a rookie, when I did that, I didn't know the impact. I didn't know the value. But as soon as I started realizing that impact, I understand no work is bigger and no work is smaller. You should always think about one important thing, whether my job is creating an impact in the organization. My job is creating the value to the stakeholders. If you're able to successfully do it, you will be able to move forward. The second instant what happened in the same engagement was, every stock depository limited need to run the end of the day reconciliation. It used to take 3.5 hours. And one of the challenge came to us from our group leader was, can you get it done within 1 minute or 2 minutes? 3.5 hours to 2 minutes. It was a challenge given. We were all less than 1 year of experience within TCS at that point of time. We sat together, formed a team of 3 people, worked on it. Imagine within a span of 3 working days, we got down that entire end of day reconciliation timeline from 3.5 hours to 90 seconds. It was amazing. The amount of time we spent together really helped us to discover ourselves. At that point of time, people were pointing me as a specialist in the Microsoft technologies. Later, I went to Redmond, worked with Microsoft on Hotmail from TCS itself, and also with the Microsoft TV. What you see today, all the OTTs, what you see today, all the set-top boxes, I was working on that way back in 2002. I was working on the video on demand, TV guide and other things in 2002. Probably it was not even there in this part of the world. At that point of time, again, the group of seniors were hesitant to work on the integration aspects with the TV guide. I took up the challenge again and worked in deploying the TV guide integration for the AT&T networks and Charter, not knowing the kind of an impact I could create. So when I did that, it was deployed around for 80,000 homes at the first round. And the feedback was very, very excellent. And, you know, I had an opportunity to meet with Steve Ballmer at that time, stating that the kind of an impact I could create as a small 3.5 years old. Again, the story, what it reflects is challenges do come. You also get into some of the uncomfortable zones, but making yourself comfortable in the journey makes a bigger impact. After returning back, there was a need for me to enforce myself. How can I rebrand myself? I cannot carry on with the same tag of Microsoft specialist. I was very curious to do the tuning part because of the kind of a legacy I was carrying. And I was working on some of the critical engagements within the offshore side. I was working with Vishaka Steel Plant. I was working with the Tata Telecom Services. And during that course of time, I was doing these things, but I could see that plethora of requirements coming in, I was not able to scale. And that was the time I realized, it's not that you alone can do everything, but you need to form a community. Utilizing my own knowledge repository, I have trained over 2,500 TCS employees in the performance foundations and the tuning techniques. What did that do? It created amplified opportunities. It created a multiplier effect. When you give back to the society, you are also giving back a lot of value to the society. And that really helped me to scale up the services. That real lesson of training others, making others believe that they can do, is a big service you can do to the community. That was the first time I did of knowledge sharing to the community and build a great set of people. Having seen that, Microsoft came to me and told me, can you run a technology community program? We will fund you. We want you to work on the cutting edge technologies and help others to know about these things. Whatever the new things which were coming in Microsoft stack, they were keep on pouring the things to me, and we were trying to build that particular community. Around, within 3.5 years, a 5,000 people community was formed. That was another important thing. A community service, community building is the first thing which I could explore at that point of time. I was not getting into the depth of it, but I was looking into the breadth of the stack. Why breadth of the stack is very important as part of the early part of the career is, it will help you to understand and navigate through the challenges of the business complexities, which I was successfully doing it. While I was doing that, that was the time cloud came in. When the cloud technologies came in, I was one of the first few people who was trying to embark onto the cloud journey and learn those things and apply those things. And one of the engagement which we were working was on the Windows testing technologies, Microsoft royalties. These were some of the engagements which really helped me to discover myself much more deeper. You know, Microsoft paying around $300 million extra to the vendors at that point of time. We could discover through as part of the calculation engine. And we were able to really make a bigger impact. The impact you create with a small set of services can make a bigger change. So at that point of time, I could realize one of the foremost principles which I was believing, pace. You need to be proactive. You need to be assertive in nature. You need to collaborate with others, and you should be efficient. PACE stands for that. And I truly believed in that, and it really helped me to make a remarkable impact. The second important journey I took from there was to rebrand myself from the Microsoft technologies to the performance champion, then to the cloud catalyst. Later, I realized when you're trying to work for the organizations, it's not about the one particular technology. You need to really look into the architectural segment. That's where the enterprise architecture coming in. I was one among the first 15 people who were certified in enterprise architecture by the Open Group in level 2. It has to have a level 1, level 2, level 3. And that architecture framework really plays a practitioner role. And when we were certified in that particular area, it really played a very dominant understanding about how enterprise architecture thinking happens. You need to think like an architect. You need to act like an architect. Architecture is not a simple thing. Even if you are trying to make a movies, when you talk about Rajamouli or when you talk about Aditya Dhar in Dhurandhar, there's a huge amount of collaboration you need to do, thinking you need to do, connecting the dots you need to do to make it happen. Connecting those building blocks are very, very critical and important, and one particular decision you make wrong, everything will get collapsed. And we were playing a very important role in many engagements, and that really gave me a very good understanding and discovering myself. You can make mistakes, but always remember mistakes. ARM principle. ARM stands for always remember your mistakes. Don't repeat it. The more you do it, you will be able to be a powerful person in your life. As I progressively moved from cloud to that, today I call it myself as a deep tech and innovation leader. Within TCS, there's a huge amount of investments I'm trying to make with my partner alliances, co-innovation network, trying to promote startups, trying to promote the young generation to really look into the new technologies, how it can create impact to the societies. As part of that, I'm currently mentoring few startups in T-Hub and also in IIT Hyderabad. It is only giving a privilege to discover what students can really make a big difference. In fact, when I talk about others, I felt like it is important that in my own family, I need to have a startup. I really recommended my son, go and explore yourself. And in fact, he started his own startup called Sita, which is on mental health and wellness. And when you are able to promote yourself within the family, you will be able to do much more justice outside with that kind of an intent. As I continuously do that, there is one more important principle I follow, that is watch. Watch your words, watch your actions, watch your thoughts, watch your character, watch your heart. When you consistently listen to your heart, you are going to make a big difference to your own career. When you consistently operate in that direction, you'll be able to make a bigger impact. As I was doing this in 2016, there was a moment that really changed my life. I was all the way working towards my career, growth, which is giving me the visibility and recognition. But 2016, that's where I entered into IEEE and Computer Society of India, which really helped me to teach about how you can contribute to the society, how you can contribute to the community, what is the impact you can create, what is the value you try to deliver. It's not only about your success, but it's about the impact and value. I stopped asking myself, what is the role you're going to do? I started looking at myself, what is the impact you create? What is the value you deliver to the stakeholders? When you all start getting into that particular discussion and that kind of a mode of thinking, you are going to transform your own success definition. I truly believe that students, professors, academicians, or any kind of professionals who are attending this need to really focus on the impact and the value creation. When you consistently do that, you are going to transform not only your career, but you are going to transform the lives of many more people. And it is important that you start embracing that. As I see today, many people are really worried about artificial intelligence, AI, Gen AI, agentic AI, these are the buzzwords. Probably in the future, you may start witnessing about quantum. I saw a lot of things which are happening here on the music. People were performing, but today I could also see there is AI tools available which can tune the things, give you the music for different songs and genres. I could also see a lot of AI tools coming into the market, which is also going to make a lot of feature films. Just you need to plot an idea and it can generate a film for you. In fact, I was there part of one of the inauguration of Lord Venkateshwara AI, which was launched by Dilraju. And again, that is powered with some of the AI techniques. From the pre-scripting to the post-production, most of the things can be done by AI. You really cannot make any big difference. It's not only the filmmaking, but also part of any kind of a impact you see in every industry. You talk about healthcare, really getting transformed. You talk about retail, it's really getting transformed. You talk about banking, finances, you're getting transformed. It is important that you start embracing these changes. I also want to let you know that as an individual, you should also look at what government of India is trying to offer. And since I'm part of this particular IEEE CSI, Internet Society and Open Group, and also as a chair for the ICT and Startup Committee for FTCCI, I am helping government of Telangana and government of India in influencing some of the IT related policies. Why we need to do? Why we need to participate? It will only help you to make your entire ecosystem grow. In fact, I would encourage you to really study about digital public infrastructure of India. The most powerful, most scalable, most economical available in the entire world. You see our unified payment services, you see about Aadhaar card, you see all these things which are made it available for all of you, all of us to consume, really talking about the scale and we are trying to work. I also want to emphasize one important fact. When I am trying to understand the DPI, when I am trying to assess the policies, when I am trying to understand the entire ecosystem play, the thought process is completely changing. As an individual, you need to really look at how this particular structure is going to change your lives. If you are an entrepreneur looking for any kind of a new ideas, look at not only the idea but also validate your idea. The early you validate, early you feel can make a big difference. And most important thing in my own career I could understand in the last 27 years is the characters what you try to build for yourself is a fearless attitude. Don't worry about the outcome. Worry about validating your idea. Outcome will definitely come out. Sometimes the failures will come. Fearless attitude is important. Your ability to adapt to the new technology is important. That's what I did. And the process, what we are trying to do is we are trying to rebrand ourselves. So tomorrow when you are going out into the market, try to brand yourself. Your positioning, your branding plays a very important role. How you sell yourself. How do you position yourself in the market? Self-branding is much more critical than the organizational branding. When people know with your brand, the kind of a power of technology what you carry, the power of knowledge what you carry, the power of skill what you carry, that makes a remarkable change, impact. So my only humble request to all of you is to look, what is your brand? Question yourself, what is my brand? If your brand can be discovered, you can really make a big difference. Now I could see the people who made the music here, their brand is music. They are called as musicians. So what you want to be called as? What you want to be called as is important, so discover yourself and that invisible force, if you start listening, you will be making a bigger impact. And I'm telling you, no one is born intellect, no one is born extraordinary. Few people might be there here and there. But with a continuous focus to develop that skill, with a continuous passion to really work on that particular area of interest, can make a big difference. I heard people talking about following the passion, but how many of us follow the passion? How many of us really make that passion is followed with a rigor? When you have a passion and you maintain that particular rigor, you are going to make a remarkable change to your own career. My request to all of you is, if you can listen to your heart, listen to your inner circle and discover yourself, you are going to make a big change to your own career path. Whether you are working for a job, whether you are working as an entrepreneur, whether you are working as an academician, it's all about your inner force can make a big difference. I only say that when we are consistently using any particular thing, the outcomes are much more sweeter. Consistency is far more important than anything. And if you are able to do any kind of a work with that consistency, you're going to make a big difference to your own career. And I made myself changes in that direction. And today you see that the transformation happens based on the kind of a timing under which you are operating. And you need to continuously rebrand and position because technology and IT markets are transforming rapidly. And you need to continuously learn and be adapted. So finally, one important message I want to give: be consistent, be fearless, be adaptable, and be watchful. When you are doing this and following your passion, you will be successful in that entire journey. Thank you.